Well, we're back for part two, and I had finally gotten all of these rivets disconnected. Once again, it was a 2-hour process for each rivet, practically, grinding them off with a Dremel tool because I can't get anything bigger in there. I can't get a hammer in there and a chisel in there, and I can't get really at it. But I will say that if they would have built the Titanic with these rivets, that thing would still be afloat because they're the hardest darn things to get out of there I think I've ever seen. So I did get the rivets disconnected. As you can see, they're still on the inside. And what was worrying me, if you can get a look at the aluminum connection to the steel connection there, how the aluminum is completely gone, and that was part of what I was concerned about, that rather than this entire brace that spreads this weight out up to the top, it really is only supported by the short sections that are where the frame is, because it had rotted between the top and the bottom of the frame on the edges there, and I'll show it to you in another video. How much was left. So really the only connection was between right where those 6 to 8 rivet holes were, and then the rest of it was sort of useless, and that had me concerned too. And it's the same way actually on the other side. You can see how that's coming apart as well, but I'm not as concerned there as I was on this side, which this side's far worse than the other side was. So I thought that when I would disconnect this thing that, you know, gravity would take over and it'd come crashing down, and I'm worried about it hitting me on the head. I must have been dreaming, because I can, as you see, barely get this thing to move. And what's happening is that there's enough in the back of the frame that goes back inside up there that it's wedged in so well that it is, you know, like a lever trying to pull that out. And I'm right now, if you'll remember, this gap has closed. There was a ½ an inch between the left side and the right side of that. And for those of you that were, everybody by the way has commented on the first video and how there wasn't enough light, I did go back and lighten that up so that you can see it. If you're really into rust, you can get a better picture of this hole. But this hole and all of this stuff inside here that I worked on, as you can see, the frame was cracked top to bottom on both sides, and the only thing really holding it together was the airbag plate that went across the bottom and the top, which is still connected, that connects the 2 side rails. And aside from that, it was pretty well gone. But I will say this: a friend of mine, Herb Matthews, said there's so much metal back there that you really shouldn't worry about it. And even this stuff that's paper thin is so strong, it's just beyond my ability to comprehend how well that is put together. But you can also see here, again, the rust where the airbag plate sat. It's pretty well destroyed. So that was what had me concerned. I think I could have probably gone another 10 years without doing this, but it's off my mind. Well, it'll be off my mind if I ever get this thing out of here, and I'm determined to get it out, even if I have to take it out in dime-sized pieces. So I'll be back with another update.